Welcome. In this playthrough of Marvel Champions card game, we have Nebula taking on an expert Nebula. So first off, yes, technically should not be playing Nebula versus Nebula per the rules. But technically, if you want to, you can. And I want to, so we will. So for Nebula, the villain setup, she's got two main schemes. We're using Nebula 2 and 3 for experts. We've got the Power Stone, Ship Command, Standard, Expert, and instead of the Space Pirates, keeping it random. And this time we are going with Running Interference. And honestly, I don't think I've ever played this one. So then continuing setup, we're going to put Nebula's Ship Environment and the Milano Support into play. Attach a Power Stone to Nebula, then discard the top 2 cards per player of the encounter deck. Then attach each technique attachment discarded this way to Nebula. Then on this side, we're going to have a threshold of 6. X is going to be equal to the number of evasion counters on her ship, and that's going to determine how much threat we get on there every round. So her ship, force interrupt. When the villain phase begins, place an evasion counter here. Shoot the thrusters, first player action, exhaust a Milano and spend up to 2 resources of any type. Remove an evasion counter from here for each resource spent this way. And we have a Power Stone. It's getting set up with her. So give him +1 scheme and attack. Force response after hero or villain deals 3 more damage to attach character with a single attack. Attach a Power Stone to the attacking hero or villain. Then our villain, starting with a scheme of 2, attack of 2. First technique attachment each player reveals each round, gains surge. And force interrupt. When Nebula initiates an activation against you, resolve the special ability on each technique attachment in play, then choose and discard one of those attachments. And for our hero Nebula, we are starting with the Milano. So the first player controls the Milano, and then as a resource, we can exhaust it to generate a wild resource for any player. Her stats: 2 for thwart, attack, and defense, combat protocols. Force response after your turn begins, resolve the special ability on each technique upgrade you control, then discard each technique upgrade resolved this way. Hand size of 5, 9 health. Alter Ego, recovery of 3. Cybernetic upgrades as a response. After you play a technique upgrade, draw 2 cards. Hand size of 6. And yes, if I do get Nebula ship, I'm still going to bring it in. We are definitely in an alternate timeline universe. Going Power of Justice, we've got 2 of those. Determination, Living Tribunal, Under Surveillance, then 3 Clear the Areas, 3 for Justice, 3 Think Fast, then Jack Flag, Venom, Wraith, Eros, Quasar, and Wiccan. And finishing off with our basic cards, we have our 3 resources, an endurance, and a downtime. All right, so shuffling on counter deck, and we're going to get 2 cards discarded and hope none of them are techniques. And since we're both running techniques, I'm just using this word as surge for the villain, not for our hero. So our discarded cards is 1 technique, so she's going to have retaliate 1, and the special is taking the damage. And we will shuffle and get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For Justice, Persistence, Lethal Intent, Power of Justice, Determination, and Jack Flag. So we will keep those and that, even though that's not terrible to keep. But we're getting rid of it anyway. So Clear the Area, Think Fast, and Power of Justice. So we are going to play a technique. While in hero form, we get +1 thwart, attack, and stalwart. And after playing a technique, we draw 2 cards. So for Justice and Energy, we will go ahead and flip over. We are going to attack for 3, down to 14. We get retaliated on for 1. We steal the Power Stone. We're going to think fast, take a damage to confuse the villain. Down to 7. And confused. Bring in Jack Flag. Thwart a 2, attack of 1, 3 health. After he thwarts, place an ammo counter on him. Hero action, exhaust him and remove a counter from him to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So thwarting for 2. Get our counter. And we're going to end our turn. Oops. Going to keep the energy, discard for justice. So wide stance, combat ready, lethal intent, and venom. Villain phase gets a token and a threat. Then attacking for 2, but first we're just going to take a damage for special. We're going to defend and take nothing. Counter card. Villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. That's not nearly as fun. Jack Flag defends for 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to our turn. So we start by getting a tough status card. We're going to go ahead and flip over. So put in a wide stance. While we're in hero form, reduce the amount of damage he takes by 1 each attack. Special, look at the top 3 cards in the counter deck, discard 1, and put the others back in any order. Draw 2 cards for justice and a wide stance. We will bring in Venom, thwart a 2, attack of 3, 4 health. While there's no threat on the main scheme, reduce all consequential damage he takes by 1. We are going to thwart for 2. There is no threat there, so taking 1 damage. Exhaust Milano, discard a resource to take care of that. And end our turn. Drawing 6. Under surveillance, Wiccan, clear the area, Wraith, Endurance, and Gamora. So token and a threat. Lose confused. Counter card. Surge. And to choose to exhaust a Milano, spend 2 energy resources or discard a card at random. I can't decide. We'll leave it to fate. So we are going to lose Gamora. All right. We're going to recover for 3. Flip over. Clear the area, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat on that scheme, draw a card. Into Nebula's ship. That's empty, so attacking for 3. Down to 11. We're going to bring in our duplicate Nebula ship, but this one gives us a wild resource. And we're going to exhaust the Milano and pay a resource to get rid of this. Ending our turn. Keeping Wiccan. 4 more cards. Weapons Master, Lethal Intent, Think Fast, and Evasive Maneuvering. Villain phase. Attacking, we're tough, so we feel good. 3 damage, lose toughness. Counter card. Tombstone, scheme of 2, attack of 3, 9 health. After he attacks and damages you, discard a mental or physical resource from your hand if able. Nasty. So start of our turn. I look the top 3 cards in counter deck, discard 1, and put the other 2 on top in any order. Hull Breach can go bye-bye. Let's see. Nebula attacks you. If damage is dealt, place an evasion counter. Yep, we'll do it that way. Nine health, really? Nebula attacks for 3. I'm going to think fast, take a damage, and confuse the villain. Flip over. Use Nebula's ship as a resource to bring in Weapons Master so we can draw 2 cards. Cutthroat Ambition and a Living Tribunal. Then we are going to bring in Wiccan. Thwart a 1, attack a 1/3 health. After he thwarts, discard the top card of the counter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, deal a damage to an enemy. Thwarting for 1. Come on, 3. All right, 2. And then attack for 3. Exhaust Milano to get rid of that. And our turn, drawing 6. Think fast. Clear the area. Downtime. Weapons Master. And Strength. And Euros. All right. Got that. We lose Confused. That guy still schemes for 2. Then Salsa Milano, spend 2 physical resources or stun the first player. Strength is going to pay for that. Then we are going to Weapons Master. Bring this in so we can draw 2 cards. Genius, Cutthroat Ambition. Bring in Euros. After you play him from your hand, confuse a minion for each mental resource you use to pay for him. So that guy's confused. Then Wiccan is going to thwart for 1 and deal 1 damage somewhere, which is enough to take this confused guy out. Then thwarting for 2. Flip over, attack for 3, down to 8. Use our ship combo to remove a token. Then we're going to think fast, taking a damage and confusing the villain. Down to 7. All right, ending our turn. We're going to keep that. Combat ready, Quasar, and counter card. Do some shuffling, and we have 2 more cards coming to us. So going through the deck, and we really haven't done much. Except stay alive. Clear the area, and another thing fast. All right, that Nebula ship thing. Oh yes, now attacking. He's going to defend for 2, 5. And counter card, Cannonade, hinder 3 per player. First player action, exhaust Milano, remove 3 threat from the scheme. So it's coming in with 4 threat. Then first one of those, so that gets Surge. She is stalwart, so can't be confused. Special is you are stunned. If you're already stunned, give her a face down boost card. And then Inferiority Complex. May flip to our alter ego side. We will. Exhaust your alter ego. Remove this from the game. The other option is choose and discard 2 upgrades you control. If no upgrade was discarded this way, this card gains Surge and discard this obligation. All right, back to our turn. Well, Nebula's ship. Going to bring in some ambition. So we've got gain piercing and overkill along with our retaliate 2. But we draw 2 cards. Power of Justice and Think Fast. Flip over. Bring in Quasar. Thwart 1, attack for 2, 3 health. After he enters play, remove a threat from each scheme in play. Then we're going to thwart for 1. Then we're going to think fast and clear the area. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat on that scheme, draw a card. So clear the area. Then use Milano, discarding a card to get rid of that. And we keep our defenders. And our think fast, so Jack Flag, Strength, Energy, and Lethal Intent. All right, get our token and our threat. Attacking. Before the attack happens, we're stunned. Wiccan defends. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. And counter card, Shadows. Oops. Of the past. That's how bad it scared me. So we're getting our Nemesis set. So Gamora comes in. Schema 2, attack 2, 6 health. This minion would enter play. Discard the Gamora ally from play. Force response. After she attacks and damages you, choose and discard an upgrade you control. Then self-preservation. Nebula gets -1 fort, attack and defense. Gamora gets +1 attack, and her attacks gain piercing. Then we'll shuffle these 3 goodies in here. And take our turn. So the first thing we're going to do is activate our techniques. The first one is an attack. So it's going to fizzle or stun. Second one is not. And it's going to deal 4 damage. And the third one, remove 3 threat from a scheme. All right, took care of all of that. Do a Milano Nebula ship combo. Attack for 2. Bring in Jack Flag. Thwart of 2, attack of 1, 3 health. After he thwarts, place an ammo counter on him. Hero action, exhaust him, and remove an ammo counter from him. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. He'll just keep that in check. Then we're going to think fast, take a damage, and confuse the villain. Flip over and heal for 3. End your turn. Downtime, Lethal Intent, Cutthroat Ambition, Endurance, Wide Stance, and for Justice. Do our token thing, get rid of Confused. Encounter card, Alter Ego, you may exhaust the Milano. If you do not, the villain schemes with +1 scheme. We will exhaust the Milano. So we're going to bring in Cutthroat Ambition, giving us piercing and overkill, and special remove 3 threat from a scheme. Trigger drawing 2 cards. Basic maneuvers, and we're combat ready. Go ahead and flip over. See how many techniques I have in here. 1, 2, 3. So before we flip over then, combat ready, alter ego action, choose, shuffle up to 2 technique upgrades from a discard pile into your deck, or discard cards from the top of your deck and 2 discard a technique upgrade and put that into play. We are going to shuffle 2 weapon masteries back in our deck. We're going to use our ship to give us +3 hit points. So up to 12. Flip over, attack for 3. Down to 5. Bring in some evasive maneuvering. So ignore Guard, Patrol, and Crisis. Special, choose to either stun or confuse an enemy. Then a Wide Stance. Reduce damage we would take by 1 for each attack. And the special, look at the top 3 cards and discard 1 and put the others on top however we choose. We could flip Nebula by killing those off, but I think I'm just going to keep them. And I see no need to use him right now. Well, yeah. And he should have 2 counters on him now. Ender turn. Draw 5. Gamora. Wide Stance for Justice. Weapons Master and Thinking Fast. So we're getting 2. Attacking. Quasar defends. For 1/2. After this activation ends, attach this to Nebula and resolve the special. Discard a card at random from your hand. So losing Gamora, bummer. Counter card, the villain attacks you. All right, glad I didn't waste them. So defending, a base 2. Well, yes, before that happens, we're losing a card from our hand. Thinking Fast. Then he's taken 5 damage and Venom is out. Back to our turn. Jack Flag is going to exhaust, spend a counter to deal 2 damage. Before that happens, we go through these though. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. Choose to either stun or confuse an enemy. And then look at the top 3 cards in counter deck, discard 1, and put the other 2 back on top. Pitch that, Insight and Surge. Advance on top. All right, attacking for 3. Finally getting through this version. So with this one, after she does her special stuff, we may then remove the top card of our deck from the game to choose and discard one of those attachments and 20 health. So also Milano and 2 resources. Use our ship to bring in a Weapons Master. We have Retaliate 1 and Special, deal 4 damage to an enemy. Ending our turn. Lethal Intent, clear the area, Weapons Master, Living Tribunal, and the Power of Justice. So our token and threat. He's ready. Attacking for 3. And we know this is an Insight and a Surge. Place an evasion counter on the ship. And Gamora attacks you. If no attack was made this way, this card gains Surge. We're going to defend. So 1, 2, 3. Resolve the special after. So 3 damage coming in. We're defending 2, so we take 1 and retaliate for 1. And place a threat on the main scheme. Back to our turn. We are going to deal 4 damage to an enemy, down to 15. We're going to clear the area, removing 2 threat from the scheme. Flip over, use our ship to bring this in to draw 2 cards, Genius and Determination. Then the Milano and 2 resources. Then bring in the Living Tribunal. It's an action, shuffle this card into the encounter deck without looking because of the back. When revealed, remove 2 threat from the main scheme and remove this card from the game. This effect cannot be canceled. So we'll put that in there, and I'll turn my head away from the camera, and we'll give it a couple quick shuffles, and in 3, 2, and 1, we are done. Ending our turn. Yeah, we'll keep that. Wraith for justice, under surveillance, unyielding persistence, and counter card, and we have one more card coming our way. Tell you what, when you draw an extra 2 cards every other round, you go through your deck quite a lot. Weapons Master. So that and that. Lose confused. Get another encounter card. Ooh, nice. Except that's going to be an attack force, I think. More attacks you. If no attack is made this way, this card gains Surge. Well, it gets Surge. And that's going to be remove 2 threat from the main scheme and remove this card from the game. And then attached to Nebula, she gets Retaliate 1. Specials take a damage, and that's surged in 2. She cannot take more than 5 damage from a single attack. All right, back to our turn. We're going to play an upgrade to draw 2 cards. Genius, Power of Justice. Flip over. We are going to bring in Wraith with the help of our ship. 4-1, attack 3, 3 health. When a boost card is turned face up, exhaust Wraith and deal a damage to him. Cancel the card's boost effect. And attack for 3. Down, no. Nebula's got Retaliate. Just going to sit there and look pretty. Under surveillance, attach to the main scheme, max 1 per scheme, increase the target threat value of attached scheme by 4. That goes from 6 to 10. And we'll use the Milano to pay to bring out a Weapons Master. And we are going to attack for 3, down to 12. And I'll go ahead and discard that. Ending our turn. Clear the area, ×2, lethal intent, and Jack Flag. Get a token and 2. Yes, we did get retaliated on. So now attacking us for a lot. Before that, though, we're going to take a damage down to 9. Place a threat on a main scheme ×2. Then remove this from the game. No more evasive maneuvering for us. We're getting rid of Retaliate. So attacking for 3. We are going to take it. After this activation ends, discard a card at random from your hand. So we're taking 3 damage down to 6. Stealing the Power Stone from us, and then discarding a card at random. Lethal Intent. Which reduces our attacks by 1. Then Running Interference. When revealed, each player must choose to either spend mental, physical resources or place 2 threat here. That card there just prevented us from winning this round. We're going to spend nothing and put 4 out here. We're going to trigger. This is an attack, dealing 4 damage. Reduced by 1, so going down to 9. And that does the same, going down to 6. And then this is going to give us a tough status card. Then attacking for 3. Gets knocked down to 2, down to 4. Then we will thwart for 2. Use a Milano to clear the area and draw a card. Thinking fast. Then use our ship to bring in Jack Flag. Thwart a 2, attack a 1/3 health. After he thwarts, place a counter on him. Hero action, we can exhaust that to do 2 damage. So thwarting for 2. Ending your turn. Combat ready, wide stance. Combat ready for justice. And thinking fast. Get a 3rd token, which will put 3 threat. Then, let's see, discarding a card at random. Two threat. Then we're going to lose Cutthroat Ambition. To get rid of that. So the attack is 4, 5, 6 damage. Get rid of Tough. And counter card is Nebula attacks you. If damage is dealt by this activation, place an evasion counter on her ship. So activating again for 2 more threats. Where are we at here? We're at 7. It's going to take it to 9. We are going to lose downtime to get rid of 1. Jack Flag is taking this hit for base 4, 5, 6. And then we are going to attack for 3, down to 1 health. And then attacking for 2, which will take out the villain Nebula. So Nebula on Nebula. Close battle. I think it came down to we had more friends than she did. But as always, hope you enjoyed this playthrough. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.